Hey,
Hey, how are you?
I am good. It is 9 o'clock on the dot, and I wonder what we are going to get into. Um, I'm outside. I decided it's gonna be it's gonna be for real fall here where I live. I don't know if you get real fall and real winter where you are, but I'm like, let me enjoy this last bit of summer.
Wow. You don't get fall until like December sometimes, November, December.
Man, we get 2 weeks of fall, and
Yeah.
then it goes straight to winter where I am.
Mm.
So my summertime here it ends, and then it's like it packs up real quick. No thank you, no, no goodbye warnings. It's
Right.
just like, all right, I gotta go.
Nothing else.
Um, so I okay, number one is 16 of y'all on here. Go ahead and just hit the like button for me. I'm going to pull up the live on my YouTube just in case there's any shenanigans going on and I need to like boot somebody or have somebody help me out. Um but y'all, Burbies, people on this live, I am such a fan of Jules. Jules is a troublemaker to the 100th degree. And I am super stoked that she actually said yes to coming. I'm such a fangirl. And I've been a fangirl since last year when you had the audacity to say that you would be single until a the ability to take care of themselves.
Right.
How dare you think
That's
that
great.
a partner should who do you think that you are to think that you are supposed to have a partner that can actually take care of themselves? What made you think that you could do that and not be miserable being single?
Are you there?
Oh man,
Yeah.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes.
How dare you?
I know. You know what? When I made that post, I woke up on a Saturday, didn't think nothing of it because TikTok has me, hidden for some reason. I still have people thinking I took a break or something. And I was like, I'm just going to
Right,
post this. It's going to get a couple hundred views. Nobody's going to care. So. Next thing I know, millions of views, celebrities are sharing it, radio stations are talking about it,
woo,
articles are getting written. I'm getting death threats from what's wrong. Anyway, we'll talk about. But yeah, that I thought it wasn't a big deal. But I was
right,
surprised at how many women just needed permission to be like, I'm okay being single. And I was
right,
like, this is, I think I really struck oil with this because I feel like it is an important message. Growing up, my parents didn't pressure me to get married or do anything. I did that on my own, but there are so many women who are facing that pressure from friends, family, society to rush and get
right.
married, settle down, and they just needed somebody to be like, it's okay to not do that yet or at all if you don't want to. So I felt like I think it was very helpful. So
And I think that the powers that be, the power structures, the patriarchy, they know that social media is a game changer for their power structure. Because
right,
if you have more women like the two of us having nerve to talk, and just share our experiences, the media and men in general have had the PR capacity to paint us as bitter, as angry. But when we talk and people are like, maybe she is just kind of normal, that helps to change the narrative. And I believe that we are powerful. We know we're powerful. And because of that, we're going to change some lives.
I agree. I agree. I feel like we were sent here to tell the truth to people, to set people free. And a big misconception about me is people think that I hate men and I hate relationships and I hate marriage. So I find
Right.
myself having to make a video every now and then saying, okay, calm down. I don't. I'm against toxic relationships, abusive relationships, people rushing because they think they have to do it by a certain time. I want
Shoot.
to get married. Invite me to your wedding. I'll do the electric slide. Tell me about your boyfriend. Tell me about your. I think that's good, but I just want women to do it coming from a healthy place. That's it.
Shoot. Dang it. Dang it. Shoot. Jules.
Yeah. Can you hear
Oh
me?
no. Jules,
Yes.
did I glitch out or did you glitch out?
I still see both of us regular, normal.
Okay. All right, cool. It kind of on my end. Y'all, if I drop, I will come right back to this link. I'm just saying that for technical difficulties, because this is live and this is real life, and I don't have a real live studio. So
I think they can still see both of us. I don't know if y'all can still hear.
Being a misandrist and all of that stuff. But I also get accused of being a racist. I get accused of all kind of stuff simply because I don't like power structures that oppress Black women. I happen to be a Black woman. So when I see that things are unfair, I talk about it. And a lot of the times these relationships are not particularly fair. It's like an unpaid labor is always just heaped on our shoulders. So I talk about some things like equity and shunning just doing everything. It's like, oh my God, you hate men. Like maybe just men should help out a little bit more.
And that just shows how all of this is so heavily ingrained into the fabric of the world.
Yes.
That if you speak anything against it, even if it's for someone's benefit, what do you do? You hate men. You're bitter. What are you doing? This is how we've always done things. So that's just, I think it shows a lot about just how bad off a lot of us are.
Right. And so I just posted a video recently, and I don't know if you saw it. That woman, that white lady who was talking about her lazy Saturday, and it set the people off.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that?
I did, and all I did was I shook my head because I've been there, done that. I've been through that.
Right. It's just like these people get so annoyed at women just simply living, especially if you are living and like not burnt out or not looking frazzled, not, just in service of somebody at that particular point in time. Like, do we ever get a chance to just relax? Is that just doing too much to ask that a woman could just let her hair down, just drink some coffee, enjoy her friends without just being side-eyed like you're doing something wrong?
Right. If I had a nickel for every time somebody asked me, where are my kids? I'd be rich, because we have to have our kids stuck to our sides all the time. And I'm just like, don't worry. My kids are okay. This is my thing here. This is my social media. That's fine. But I'm just like, calm down. People. I talk about encouraging young people to live alone. And I got a few comments like, but don't you live with your kids? But don't you? I'm just like, I'm not even talking about that, first of all.
Right.
So it's crazy.
Yeah. And why do they even want to see our kids like that? Like I try to do stuff in the morning with my kids are distracted or sleep or something, because kids can be a distraction, and we all know that. Like all these people that think that just simply because you're a stay-at-home mom or you're a work from home mom or something like that, like you have all the time in the world. Like, dude, these people, when they're awake, they require stuff. I think my children have they're supposed to say mom or mommy like 60 times an hour or something like that. Like they will pass a perfectly another human that's right there to come and ask me if they could have something. Like, you have a whole nother parent like right beside you. Why are you asking me?
Right, right, right. That's why I love the fact that, there's women like you and myself and other creators who are moms who are kind of breaking the mold and saying, hey, we have our own hobbies and
Yes.
interests. We're not always, fixing peanut butter and jelly sandwiches or taking somebody to this. And we are, it is okay. And we still, I promise our kids are alive and well.
Right.
This is my thing. And I
Right.
think a lot of women need permission to do that too. I posted like a series of pictures of my party girl face from years ago,
Ah.
and this woman commented, and she was like, "Oh, well, I couldn't do that because I had two little kids that were stuck to my hip." And I was like, "Well, I was lucky enough to have a support system that wanted me to, go out and have fun. My kids were still okay, and it wasn't every day that I went out, but
Right.
I had littles too." So I think even for a lot of women, forget the men, for a lot of women, it's hard to imagine that
Right.
you out without your kids. What?
I needed to put on my pearls. I forgot to put on my pearls. So how old were you when you had your children?
um, I think I was 20. I think I was 22 or 23 when I had my son,
Okay.
and maybe 25 or 26 when I had my daughter, I think.
Okay.
I'm not
And
good
so,
with math, so.
well, it's okay. You were in your 20s.
Early
I
20s.
was people on this might not know that me and you are around the same age. You are a couple of years younger than me. I'm in my 40s. I'm 42. I'll be 43 next month.
Yeah, I'm
But
40.
no,
I'm 41 in December.
and so number one, keeping your stress levels down is great for your skin. It's
Mm,
great. It helps your hair grow when you keep the dusty people away.
right.
But what I like to talk about sometimes is periodically having children later in life is perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. Like, you were in your 20s having kids. I was in
Right.
my 20s still discovering who I was. I was living in different states. I was figuring out what I wanted to do as far as a career goes. And we have to talk about that periodically because so many of us start to fret like, oh my
Right.
God, when am I going to have kids? When am I going to do this? I'm 29 and I'm almost about to be 30 and things are about to, like, I'm going to fall off a cliff.
Mm,
Dude, especially if we're Black women. Come on now. No one can tell how old we are if we eat if we eat
right.
like we have some sense, drink some water, don't smoke, don't drink too much, all that kind of stuff. We stay looking fabulous. So I just want to remind the people here that it is perfectly okay to take your time, know who you are before you jump into situations. And like you jumped into you had a relationship, it didn't work out, you moved on. I mean, it's not like people think that divorce is a failure, but you don't come across as a failure to me.
So I was on another live last week, and I said, can we normalize divorce being fine? Can we make divorce be a good thing? Um, I mean, I guess for some people it's a bad thing, but for a lot of women, it's a good thing. And when I announce that I'm divorced or whatever, somebody will say, "Oh, I'm sorry," and I'm like, "Girl, I'm fine." Like, what do you mean? But yeah, it's been given this negative image, and like I said, in some cases it might be a negative thing. I'm not sure of everybody's story, but for a lot of women, especially like we're seeing now, it's a good thing. It's breaking free. It's going against what you thought you were supposed to gain
Yeah.
from being in a relationship, and I think that's a good thing. I think I've only met a few women over the years who felt that their divorce was a bad thing. But most of the women I've met were like, I'm having the time of my life. My hair looks good, my nails look good. And that's why, to your point, I tell women there's no biological clock. Just, you can wait. There's no need to rush into that. Of course, I wouldn't, recommend having kids in your 70s or 80s if that's possible. But 20s, 30s, you can enjoy your life. You can do what you want to do. Kids will be there. You're gonna be okay. And I think the need to rush should automatically set off an alert within you that you need to unpack and
Yeah.
ask yourself, why do I need to hurry up and do this? Why do I need to hurry up and get married?
Right.
You're stopping to ask just to be honest with yourself and ask, why are you rushing?
Right.
And I don't think a lot of us do that. I certainly
Right.
didn't.
And the thing about being in your 40s, we are not really that old, but we have had enough experiences. And so we've already been through our 20s and we get to the 40s and we see like, it's not that bad over here. It's actually pretty good. I'm in my real auntie stage where like I can do the two step. I don't feel compelled to do all of the little dances and all that kind of stuff. But but I can talk to the 20 something year olds. And so I am glad that we have these platforms that where we could still talk to the young folks, we can talk to the older ladies. And you know, I think that we are really creating a community here. I want more 20 somethings on our pages. I want them to see that, you know, life is not that bad so that they're not rushing to do anything.
Right. I'm really lucky because most of my audience is 24 through 35. That's a big chunk of where my audience hits.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, thank you. That is perfect, because if we can catch people right in that sweet spot,
Yep.
then we can prevent a lot of things from happening. So I'm really thankful that that's who I mostly have on YouTube. I think I have mostly like 18 to 25 is my
Really.
biggest audience on TikTok. Yeah. So I love the fact that I'm kind of getting them right there. And I have a lot of these women calling me auntie. And I'm like, hey, girl, okay, sit
I
down. Let's
know.
talk.
And I don't mind being called auntie. I know some people think that, you know, feel that automatic, like,
I love
but
it.
I'm perfectly fine with this auntie stage of life. Like, I don't feel, I think that, you know, when we have these experiences, it is on us to help the next generation out a little bit,
Yes.
even a lot of it.
Right. I love being called auntie. I wear it as a badge of honor. I'm like, somebody thinks I know a little something. Okay. Like, I love it. So I have no problem with it.
Oh man. So for the folks in the chats, how do y'all feel about this whole auntie conversation? Do you guys you know, for the older folks, are you perfectly fine being called auntie? Is that something that you push back against? I know that I had somebody talk to me one time like this, that is what they used to call us in the back in the slavery days, so they didn't have to call us Miss or Mrs. or whatever, you know, or to desexualize us on par with being called a mammy. And it's just like, I have never taken it as a negative. I see an older woman and I say that in a familiar term, like, you know, that's somebody I should respect. Now,
Right.
now, all aunties are not the same.
Mhm.
All aunties are not the same. So it requires some level of discernment.
Right.
So so what do you have going on these days?
Well, these days I have been reading your book, Ash You Will Make You Fat. As you can see,
Yes.
my post-it notes, I have highlighter marks everywhere. Um, and I have to post about it. But I feel like this book, Ash You Will Make You Fat, I think every woman, give these to your teenage daughters. This is like everything, all the advice in a book. And there's a lot of questions for you to dive into. Young or old, I think you should get this book. But you know, especially give these to your teenagers, your college girls, your just
Yeah.
graduated college girlies. This is like the handbook of everything we talk about on our platforms in one
Yes.
little book. You could toss it in your purse,
I
work
know.
through it. I'm almost done reading it. I've got notes, you know. So yeah, this is a really good self-help guide. Really good, and explains a lot. I think it'll help a lot of women. It'll educate a lot of women. And there was a
Yes.
chapter, I'm not gonna give away anything,
No,
but
no, no.
there
Go
was a
ahead. Go ahead. Give something away. Give something
okay.
away.
There was a chapter in here, and it really dives in. When I was going through the book, and I hate to turn everything dark, but you mentioned stealthing, and I was like, she's really telling these women about everything. I love that because there's so much so many blanks that need to be filled that are important topics that women need to talk about in order to protect themselves and be aware of certain things when they're dating. How these men trap women with babies
Ooh,
by, removing their protection when you're not aware,
yes.
or other ways of taking these dust mites. I think you called him Dust Quan. I'm just like, she's really covering everything. This is so good. So many women need to know these, like finances, mental health, um, physical health, sexual health. This book is really important, and it should be like on a bestseller list.
Man, I would really appreciate that if I could get on the bestseller list because, okay, number one, you guys can check out my book at bourbonbougieshop.com. Bourbonbougieshop.com. Let me just put that out there. And I appreciate the fact that you, even though I would have given you the book, I appreciate you supporting me in that endeavor because literally I have been on social media creating a stir for the longest time. I just wasn't getting paid for it. And I started talking about ashy men will make you fat on Facebook. And I would just be typing stuff because my background, I used to be a personal trainer before I became a stay
Yeah.
at home mom. And health and fitness was at the front of my brain. Being healthy and wanting Black women to be healthy, wanting women in general to be healthy. And so if you read the book, I know at first the title is kind of jarring, but the book is about being healthy mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially. We need all of that. And so if there's no balance, like if you spend all of your time with a man and you're not doing the other things with your other people, you're not having any
Mhm.
balance, you're not
Yeah.
going to the gym, you're not going to be healthy overall. It's
Mhm.
just not what we need to do. And I was just like, I need to write a book. And one of my Facebook friends was like, she wrote a book. I'm like, cool, let's write a book together. So she I love social media. Social media has allowed me to come in contact with so many people. I literally said, let's write a book. And she's like, I bet. And so she's sitting up here helping me. She's like doing the stuff on the back end to make the website pop. And all I have to do is talk about the book and use my voice. And then we're selling books. Like, who the heck does this? I'm a 42-year-old woman who's never even considered like writing a book. And I wrote a book at 42 years old. I just want people to understand the power in doing whatever the heck you want to at whatever
Yes.
stage in life you want to do it. The biological clock is kind of bunk. I had kids in my 30s. People are doing whatever they want. You cannot let fear stop you from doing stuff.
You cannot. This, like I said, it's a very important book. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, you say each day doesn't have to be beast mode when you're talking about how to get into the habit. I really read this book. I wasn't playing.
Thank
Talking about
you.
getting the habit of taking care of yourself. And I highlight that because I think it can apply to anything. Um,
Yep.
because we have this label of Black excellence. Okay, that's great. I get it. Do amazing things. But also, we as Black women need to know when to rest. It's okay if you don't have 25 businesses and you're not juggling 10 plates. It's okay to kind of just relax. We've earned more than enough right to
Right.
relax sometimes. It's okay. I'm the
Right.
person in the friend group where you say, "What'd you do this weekend?" And I'm like, "Nothing." People
Right.
can't believe that I do nothing sometimes. They're
Right.
like, "Wait, you didn't go?" No, I didn't go anywhere. You didn't do
Right.
nothing. No, I didn't do. I pay bills here, so sometimes I like to enjoy being here.
Yes. Yes.
So I love I that. that really stuck out to me. And because of the fact that I'm able to rest and kind of take a step back and relax, and I recognize my limits, I can go beast mode when it's time to do
Yes.
that, because I'm
Yes.
not frazzled and I've had time to recharge. So that was a good part of it too. I have a lot of stuff highlighted. I could talk all day.
I I so appreciate that. And I hope that you gathered that I was attempting to just speak in everyday language and
I
not
felt
be
like I was
like,
talking to a friend. It
yes,
wasn't this is a professional look, and this is it's still professional, don't get me wrong, but it was just like we're sitting down at brunch,
yes, okay,
bottomless. I don't drink, but bottomless mimosas. Just, girl, let me tell you, this is what these dusty men do. Like, it was just, it felt good. Like you could just curl up on your sofa with a nice cup of coffee or whatever, and your socks on, your granny panties, and just read through the book and have a good
okay,
time.
okay. All right, cool. I appreciate that. Y'all, I did not pay this woman to say this stuff about me. I did not pay her. And actually, she bought the book. So,
I wanted to
um,
invest in what you're doing.
thank you so much. Now, number one, real quick, y'all who have donated, thank you, Sovereign Woman. She says y'all are both incredible. Thank you so much. Thank you, Duchess of Success. She said, "Oh, y'all, this is gonna be a good one. We're creating a bougie girl summer. Absolutely, bougie is perfectly fine with me. Um, bougie girl summer, I'll take it." Thank you, Divine Diva. Women have identities and interests outside of titles of mother, wife. Yes. Someone did ask, and I'm going to go to, and I just want to say thank you to the ladies who have donated. I appreciate that. Before I started doing this, I was a stay at home mom, not creating any kind of real income. So to start getting some money based on just talking and trying to help folks is helpful to me in my life and my kids' lives. And so I definitely appreciate that. But Jules, somebody asked for you to talk about life after getting divorced. It was a long time ago into these comments. So
Okay.
how long have you been divorced? How'd your kids take it? How old were your kids? How old were you?
Okay. I left in 2008 and divorced in, I left July of 2008, and the divorce was finalized by January 2019. So it was
What?
quick. Yeah. I was really lucky. I had two kids. My son was 3 and my daughter was 1.
Hold on,
And
hold on. I think you just said 2008 and then 2000, you said
I'm sorry,
2009?
2009 is what I meant.
Okay.
Correct. So it was really quick. But I got really lucky. Uh, I left because of domestic abuse. So I took my kids, my son was 3, my daughter was 1 at the time, and we went to a domestic violence shelter. And at that shelter, I was like, what resources are there? What can I do? Who's going to get me divorced? Like, I was on top of everything. I wanted to be done. I was over. They had a law firm that they worked with. I had an amazing lawyer. She was a Black woman. And we got everything done in a matter of months. I mean, there are people with kids who are married who go through divorces for years. Mine,
Yeah.
between when I filed it in April and January 19th was the day I was done. Everything was kind of set out for me perfectly. I was really lucky to have that. And I was just happy to be free.
Yes.
Um, what my advice to women based on that situation is take time for yourself. I still did not take time to heal. So because of that, I still spent so many years just kind of tumbleweeding through toxic relationship to toxic relationship. So
Mm-hmm.
I was free, but not really free because I still had a lot to work on.
Yes.
I was broke. So it was just basically starting from the bottom. But I hear a lot of women say that they can't leave because they don't have any money. Well, I left with no money. So
Right.
I rebuilt my life from that situation. Some really scary times when it came to how am I going to pay bills and getting the things my kids need, because schools ask you for bring a pack of tissue and bring a pack of this, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but somehow
Right.
I did it. So It was a time of freedom, but because I didn't heal, I was still repeating the same patterns. And that's why with my content, I not just talk about men, but I also talk about how we as women can improve and work on ourselves, which again, you talk about this in your book a lot. So yeah.
So somebody says, somebody said, number one, I like Jules because she's not afraid to cuss.
Am I
Yes,
allowed to cuss on this live?
please don't.
Okay, I won't.
I don't really cuss.
Okay.
I don't, everybody can do how they want to do. I enjoy your content. I just
I
I
will
don't
not
cuss.
cuss on your live.
So thank you. But I think that you are funny as heck. I edit myself. Y'all know that I'm saying cuss words when I say heck and dang.
Right.
But no, I don't cuss with the real words. I sound like a chipmunk. So like I've never been a big cusser because I would sound like the chipmunks do Tupac or something like that.
Oh my goodness.
um yeah, so I know that the cool thing about these stories and the cool thing about venturing into other content creators on TikTok and YouTube and that kind of thing and exploring other races, cultures, countries is that we see that we are not alone. And I know that sometimes with being a Black woman, sometimes people want to pigeonhole me into just talking about Black women's issues. It's like, no, I talk about other people's issues so that we can see as a collective, this is not an issue of our femininity, our womanhood, our aggression, or whatever. This is an issue of the patriarchy creating oppression and women just wanting to fight back. And so I show other people's situations on purpose. Do you ever get any pushback about, anything like you're not being pigeonholed or you are being pigeonholed?
Like as far as my content or just as far as in general?
In general, do you venture off to talk to women of other cultures, other
Oh
races?
yeah.
Do you get
Yeah. I,
pigeonholed?
yeah. I think it has a lot to do with, I guess, people project themselves onto you. So I'm a Black woman, so they think my content is just for Black women. White women don't see themselves in me, so they assume they'll type something and they'll say, and it's not just for Black women, it's for everybody. And I'm like, no need for the disclaimer. I was talking to everybody. So unless I say this is for Black women or something. But I mean, as far as life in general, I think I come across as like sweet and innocent. At one point in my life, I was that person,
Right,
um, but now I'm not that person. I very much believe in boundaries, and as you described in your book, also saying no and leaving it at no. I don't need to giggle and put a smiley face in a text, and that's
right.
I've noticed that makes a lot of people uncomfortable.
Woo!
There's a sound on TikTok. I don't remember the creator's name, but she said a lot of you are not used to direct communication, and it
Right,
shows because the
right,
amount of people that are uncomfortable with me saying no, or I don't like that, or that makes me feel uncomfortable, and they have these like panicked
right,
reactions. 'Cause I'm like, all I told you was no, and
right,
you acted like I done slapped you in the face. Like I'm gonna need you to first of all calm down. Um,
right,
and I'll make a post about having boundaries. There was one time I made a post about um, how people kind of come at me in the comment section. And I was like, hey, I think some of y'all need to tone it down or whatever I said. And somebody commented and said, you don't like your viewers very much, do you? And I'm like, all I'm saying is don't talk to me like I'm crazy. And you think I don't
woo,
like you?
woo.
Okay, well, you're blocked, first of all. But yeah, especially as women, I will say, because we've been told that we got to be small and cute and we got to be understanding and accommodating. And I'm like, no, that's not
Right,
me.
right. So,
I'm
random question: how tall are you?
I'm 5'5".
Okay, so you're not a particularly big woman. I am 5'0" and a half an inch. So I am even smaller. But what they see with me, they see this young looking face and they see a short woman, and they don't believe that we are women with sovereignty, because number one, they don't believe that children should have sovereignty. Like,
Mhm.
you start talking about kids having opinions, kids having having some say in what they have for dinner. And for
Oh,
the we could be having a conversation, kikiing it up about men or whatever. Soon as you start talking like kids should have some sovereignty and kids are human, and people will be like, they gonna either eat what I eat or nothing. I'm like, well,
mm-mm.
and I think that is why they have such an issue with me being opinionated, is because they don't believe that children should have opinions and shouldn't be expressing it confidently. And so you see a short woman with this baby face, and people get a little confused, because I think that it's because we don't believe in the humanity and the sovereignty of children.
I 100% agree. Um, People look at me and they say Whitley Gilbert, and I'm like, Whitley Gilbert had an attitude. Whitley
Right,
Gilbert stood up for herself. So I'm more Jasmine Guy than Whitley. But
right,
I'll tell somebody no in a second, and
right,
and they'll be like, "What do you mean? No? Do you want me to write it down, or like, what's the issue? Because that's what
right,
I said." And there's a time and a place for being soft and understanding, but then there's a time for just being like, this is what I said, this is what I
right,
meant. And for Black women, I will say that we're told that we need to be respectful of everybody, and we just need to be thankful to be in the room.
right.
um, and nobody should respect us. We're the most disrespected demographic of people in the world. So people are like, boundaries? I don't even respect you. What do you mean boundaries? What do you mean you're telling me no? You should be lucky that I'm even talking to you.
Right,
And I'm just like, if I have to be thankful and grateful to be a part of something, then I'll leave and make my own thing. I don't need to be here where I'm not being respected.
right.
I made a list on a video a couple days ago where I said things I learned from my toxic ex. So this is me looking at men's negative behavior and spinning it into lessons that we can apply in real life. And one of the points was that people in general take advantage of perceived innocence, and
Mm,
they
mm.
will they will run you dry.
Woo!
Because I know how I come across to people. People assume that I'm just this cute little light-skinned baby face girl, and I'm like, absolutely not. I will cuss you out and your mom out and your kids too if you cross the line with me. So we're not
Right,
gonna go there. And one of the points I said was, people know it's okay if you think that I am a jerk, if you think that I am rude. But one thing
mm-hmm,
that you don't know is that you can't disrespect me. And as long as you know that, I'm cool. So you can call me whatever name you want.
right. And that's what it's going to take us talking back to people, because because we have been programmed to be demure and quiet and not take up space, but then they see us being loud, taking up space, and they are like, oh my God, you want to be a man. There is nothing about my life that says I want to be a man. I just want to be respected. I'm confident in my,
Right.
like, I know so much stuff. I read 73 books last year. I talk about stuff with authority because I know a lot of stuff. But and then these dudes jump on your post, and then they'll be like regurgitating ridiculous facts. And then when you have the nerve to refute that, like, have you read a book since you graduated high school? Like, why are you talking to me? You don't even have the right to talk to me, and you don't know the difference between your and your. Like, you can't talk to me right
You
now.
don't even
And then they'll
qualify
be,
to be here.
huh?
I said, you don't even qualify to be here. Yeah.
Like, why are you even talking to me? You like, we shouldn't even be breathe. I don't know if I put this in my book, but we should not be breathing the same air. You should
Yes.
not be close enough to me to breathe my air, because you should not even be in the room with me. Why are you talking to me? social media has given too many people access to you, and they think that because we're on social media, they should have the opportunity to talk to you. You're not
Mhm.
even you don't have the grammar to talk to me.
Yeah, and they'll say, "Well, it's just an opinion." Well, you have the comments on, and you're still getting blocked. Like, what is
Right.
that? Like, people just, like you said, people just think I can just get on here and just say anything beside behind my no picture profile because I'm really a coward, and no repercussion. I block people. I have people writing 5-page book report comments about what they think about what I say, and I'll read just enough to realize it's a troll, and I'll delete all that. Like, you did
Right.
all that for nothing. Like, was it worth it? Like, it's
Right.
crazy. It's crazy.
Right. I like what Divine Diva says right here. She says, I professionally shut down two I get white men on this topic meeting once. They were all over the place with the assumption because I wasn't smiling. They better get
I'm so
used to this.
tired.
They better
I
get used to
talk
this.
all day about smiling,
Oh,
and eh, eh, you know, Black
woo.
women, we have to be always welcoming and always kind because the world is so intimidated by us and they see us as a threat. So we have to have this big neon sign telling everybody, "You're welcome. Come on in. Come on in. We got to be manly for everybody." And be kind, and I'm not that person, and I
Right.
have been so misunderstood my entire life because I've had jobs where they're like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "I'm literally existing." "What do you mean, what's wrong?" But because I'm not up tap dancing and making pancakes for everybody,
Right.
something is wrong. Oh, threatening Black woman. I'm like, "No, I'm literally just sitting here like you are." And
Right.
it's really it's really upsetting. It's really annoying. I once worked at a company where I was the only Black person there, and I didn't want to get involved in the drama of what was going on. So I just kind of kept to myself. I was still kind, but I just wasn't in all the. And they thought that I wasn't being a team player. And I'm like, wait a minute, am I here to gossip and to chit chat? Or am I here to, like, what's going on? Like, I'm still
Right.
lying. But because I wasn't smiling and all up in the business and playing the mammy character that they like to assign to the Black women in the group, we always got to be entertaining or saying something
Right.
sassy or funny. Because I
Right.
wasn't fitting their idea of what a Black woman was supposed to be, they couldn't handle that.
Right.
So I've had a lot of situations that I've come across in my career life where, because I wasn't smiling and being the rambunctious Black sidekick that they write in every movie,
Woo.
wrong, and I was mad at them. I'm like, "No, I'm not entertaining you. That's not what I'm paid to do."
So we're going to probably have to have another conversation because just talking, we can go in so many different
Mhm.
directions. But you know that men, typically white men, are the ones that have always been writing these characters, and
Mhm.
I have seen a market shift as more Black women have written because we know each other. And like I just got through reading a book from Stacey Abrams. Do y'all know that Stacey Abrams is a writer too? She writes under the pen name Selena Montgomery. But this woman, I've read a couple of her books. She is amazing. But it's because when you are in one of these marginalized groups, you're able to see from the perspective of multiple groups. And then you can write it. We are funny as Black women because we know how to speak to both sides of the equation, and we're smart. So it's like once I started reading more Black women authors or just other other women, I can't go back to movies and books written by men, especially
Right.
white men, because they don't know us. Like, just okay, I know that this we didn't have a particular content set for today, but just thinking about the sex scenes written by men, and like people screwing in a bathroom stall, and then you actually go into a real life stall and it's just like stinky. Like, who would think that this is sexy? Like, why
Yeah,
do they?
that's disgusting. I would never. Mm-mm. That is insane. Yeah. My first time, my first time reading a book by a Black author, I was school age. It was
Hmm.
The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. And
Hmm.
that's kind of the first time where I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't, there's no stereotypes of us. There's
Woo!
no, we're just normal people with normal
Right.
problems. So I thank the late Toni Morrison for that. Um,
Yes.
but yeah, once you see it, you can't unsee it. And I could be watching something, I'm like, a white person wrote that, because
Right.
that's not something that we just walk around saying. That's not even how we use that word.
Right.
But yeah, it's so important that more Black women get out there and write. I've had a few ideas rolling around, but nothing concrete yet. So I'm thankful for women like you and other women who write and who can get their ideas together and actually create something that, people can learn from and grow from. Because we're definitely not. Now, granted, we do have a lot of common Black experiences. We have
Right.
a lot of Black sayings and music that we have in common, but for the most part, we're pretty much all the same, as any other woman. Like when I make my content and a white woman will comment and say, is this for us too? And I'm like, yeah, y'all got dusties, y'all
Yes.
got abusers and
Yes.
killers too. What do you
Yes.
mean?
Absolutely.
So yeah.
So, my kids are younger than yours. I was just watching something on Netflix. Oh my gosh, it's called My Dad is a Bounty Hunter. And it's a cartoon. And a lot of times when my kids are watching something on Netflix or just watching something, I'm only half watching it. But this cartoon, is a Black family with textured hair. You could tell that they really worked on that textured hair. And this family is alien fighting family or something like that. And the mama has family that's in this alien place in the alien universe. And then they're all fighting and stuff. But it's kind of like Black Panther meets color creation or something. I don't know. But it was real cool. And I say that to say, once Black people start writing stuff, once Black women start creating stuff, the the expanse of what we can be seen as or represented as in books, in cartoons, in movies grows, and we get out of the stereotypes that we're just loud and booty popping and all that. And I'm not saying anything's wrong with that, but we are expansive. Like I have always been a nerd. Some people are into drawing, some people are into anime, some people are into cosplaying and stuff. And I love that we are in we're in a society that right now we can be whatever we want to be.
Right. I agree. I 100% agree with that. I posted a video on TikTok a couple days ago where I talk about a group called Fallout Boy. And
Uh-huh.
I had some people like, wow, you like that kind of music? And I'm like, yeah, I do.
Right.
We're allowed to like we're not a monolith. We're
Right.
multifaceted. We like all
Right.
kinds of music. Okay, you want me to start rapping for you? Is that what you're thinking?
Right.
Like I like everything.
Right.
Um, so even now, people still can't get us out of the box that they put us in and
Right.
realize that we're regular people.
Yes. Because they get to have the alabaster contingent get to have multifaceted people, but we do too. So that's the reason why some people jump on our posts. I know you get it too, saying, well, you should be doing this and you should be talking about that. And I'm not even trying to be flippant when I say this. No, you should create something. You go make content. And I'm not saying that in a sarcastic way, but all of us
Yeah,
need to tell our stories, because we all have stories to tell, because we all have different experiences. There might be threads that are similar, but we should be talking.
I agree. I love that you said that, because I get long comments. You should really talk about this. You need to. I'm like, no, but you can, because you have an account, so you can log in and
Right.
record videos. Stop telling me what to do. I don't know what it is about me, but I don't like when people tell me what to do, even if it's
Woo.
something that, like, stop telling me what to do.
Right.
I hate that. So I'm
I
glad that
hate it.
you
I
said that.
hate it. I hate
Yeah.
that. Like literally, like we could be talking about whatever, and then they try to say it in such a nice way. Like I like, I don't know how they frame it, but it is still in a preachy mode. Like, how dare you have the nerve to speak on this when you could be talking about that? It's like, number one, I make 4 to 6 videos a day. You never know what I'm gonna talk about. So don't try to tone police me. I know that I make up words. Don't try to police my words, because I'm going to make up and I'm an educated woman. You have to have some level of education to be able to create
Right.
words.
Exactly.
uh,
Exactly.
but they can't stand the variety, because I think that they want to be able to describe us. And when we have multifaceted personalities, like I'm loud here, I'm quiet here, I'm learning here, I don't know everything. Like, it confuses folks, I think.
You're so right. That's why I show different facets of myself. You might see me twerking one day, and then you might see me pulling up statistics or talking about some interesting
Yes.
fact. You'll see me do my makeup. You'll see me doing a cooking video. There's so many different. I'm talking about the different types of music I like when I go to concerts or whatever. I do make up words too. But people are passive aggressive on social media. They'll
Yes.
tell us what to do and then put a heart emoji. And I'm
Oh
like,
my
I don't
God.
care. You can put a heart, smiley face, a zebra, a giraffe, and you're still gonna get blocked. Because stop
Right.
telling me what
I
to
and I don't
do.
I hate passive aggressiveness. I am assertive or aggressive. Like,
Yes.
I'm not going to play around and act like I am happy with you, and like, oh my God, I really cannot stand you, but let's agree to disagree. No, no.
I don't do that. I don't do agree to disagree. Absolutely not, especially on certain topics. I did a video, a compilation of women getting cake smashed in their face on their wedding day, and it was very violent and abusive in these videos in that compilation. And so many people were like, "Well, here's another point of view. Blocked. In my opinion, blocked. I think blocked. This is abusive." There's no other point of view on this. I'm
Right,
sorry. So
right.
I don't do passive aggressive. I'm very much, this is what the problem is. This is how we're going to move forward. Don't tell me, but I don't, no, this is the problem, and let's work on moving forward. So I love that you're saying this too.
Woo. Eh, do you know? I mean, I don't know how long you have been acting up and causing a ruckus and being rambunctious. But I have been on YouTube for less than a year. I have been causing a ruckus on TikTok I mean, I've been on TikTok, but I've only been causing the ruckus for less than a year. Imagine what is going to shift in the Black community and going forward, and taking our tentacles out in a year and a half. It's going to be amazing, because I already see the shift. I see the people in our comment section saying, "Thank you for putting words to this."
Right.
If you
I agree.
can you imagine what is going to happen with our daughters? They are going to
That is
come there.
why
Huh?
That's why daughters need these books. Give these to your high schoolers. This is important
We
to start
Yes,
changing things, because we're not really gonna see change. I feel like in our time, even
I
though
think we will.
we're making little bitty changes, but I think the most drastic changes will be seen really with our kids. That's why it's important that we educate them. And people tell me all the time that they share my videos with their daughters and even with their sons, and I'm like, that is perfect, because these are the formative years when they're developing who they are and their belief system, and they're getting ready to go out into the world. It's easier to get them right then.
Yes.
So that's why I love it when people tell me that they share these videos with their kids or with their sisters or whatever. Anybody can take advantage. That's true. but getting the young people is so important, so that they don't get out and make the same mistakes that I love to share about my mistakes. I love it because I
Yes.
can look back and see how far I have come. But I don't want these women to go through that.
Yes.
That's so passionate about what I talk about. And when I'm done reading
Yes.
this book, I'm giving it to my daughter.
A-
But
And
yeah.
so I talked about this one time. Number one, I told y'all my co-author Nzinga is amazing, but she's done the back end stuff for me, and like she would do stuff like buy the ISBNs, you know, that thing on the back of the book, because you need someone that knows this kind of stuff. So she looked into one ISBN, and it was like about $200. And then she said that to buy 10 ISBNs was like $300. And she bought 10 ISBNs. And so, what does that mean, y'all? That means that we will be writing books. The next book that's coming out is called Golden Nuggets, Auntie Advice and Wisdom, or something like that. I can't remember exactly how I wrote the name, but it's going to be a compilation of women's voices and comments that I've taken from social media. I'm compiling it into a book. So that book is going to come out this year. We bought 10 ISBNs because I like this rolling commentary of like listening to y'all and saying this is what we need to be putting out there. So next year, I've already started talking with a woman that's going to help me write a book about financial health. We're going to drill down and create a book about financial health that is in the same tone that I wrote for this book. And then I need to get with somebody to help me write a book that is targeting teenagers, teen
Mm.
girls. So that is in my brain because this book, I'm speaking to women, but I want to talk to girls. I want to talk to us about like our teenage selves. Like it is perfectly fine to stay in the books. It's perfectly fine to speak up. You know, it's not, we don't have to worry about being smart and that not being cool. So that is going to be one of the next books. I don't have teenagers yet. My kids are 6. My daughter's 6. I have a 6 and a 9-year old. But I want us to get even younger as we talk about things. So I'm going to need somebody to help me write a teenage book and tap into that market because we need to go younger. We're going to change the world younger. Maybe I can handle that next year, but that's what we going to do.
That's why I said, as soon as I'm done reading this, my daughter, she's 16. I'm gonna give her my copy of this book so she can read it. Yeah, it's really important because this is when they start to kind of, when you go from parent to guide. I've heard a few people say that there's still rules and boundaries, but they're developing, like I said, their attitudes and their belief systems, and it's important to kind of get them right at school age before they
Yes.
go out in the world.
Yes.
Because some people, I think I heard a teacher say that once they get past the age of like, I think it's between like 15 or 16, that's kind of when they're locked into who they're going to be. And then life lessons will come along and kind of mold them after that. So you have a very small, I guess, window to kind of get in
Hmm.
there, them important things for when they get out into the world. So that's great. I love that. Can't wait to see that project.
Yes. I mean, I'm going to create something. Diana Prince just said, email Deb Cooper. I don't know Deb Cooper to email Deb Cooper. I'm saying these words into the atmosphere. And I know that we have so many eyeballs on this live that somebody is going to help me create this vision of getting this book out to these teen girls. It's going to have artwork, is going to be age appropriate, is going to be message appropriate. So I'm saying this stuff so people can hold me accountable and help with this vision. So Diana, you have my email. Go ahead and email me what I need to do because these chats go quickly and there's no way I'm going to be able to go back and put, and read all of this stuff. So go ahead and email me what I need to know, Diana Prince. Thank you. Um, so man, y'all, we have been on here for 1 hour. And typically my lives go 1 hour. There are 229 eyeballs on the chat right now. So if you haven't hit like, please go ahead and do that. Um, let's see. I don't typically go longer than an hour because we are moms and we got stuff to do always. So I do want you to give a, you know, wrap it up. Give me something good to leave a message that's going to change the world of the 229 eyeballs who have hit like as of right now.
Let's see.
Give them the words. Say the stuff.
I'm going to end with something that you said in your book about being able to say no and doing everything for everybody. And you say, if you become the lady that will always grab coffee, organize a holiday party, plan and cook Sunday dinner, always have money to spare for your siblings or friends in a crunch, you will always be that person. So I love that. And it's just a reminder to stand firm on your boundaries, say no, be okay with hurting feelings, sit in the uncomfortableness of not explaining yourself and people getting mad. It's okay. You have to prioritize yourself because nobody else will.
So, absolutely. Thank you so much for reading my words back to me. It like when I wrote that book, I was actually afraid to open it up to like think about the edits and all of that kind of good stuff. It was like, oh my God, I cannot believe I actually wrote a book. But having someone read it back to me, it is kind of thrilling. And to the people on the live chat, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate you guys consistently sending me emails and tagging me and stuff. I know that I don't get to everything because my inboxes are popping. But we do as best that we can as content creators. If you guys have not subscribed to Jules, please go on YouTube. YouTube and TikTok are very different beasts. She is popping over on TikTok like a mofo. Go subscribe to her on her channel on YouTube because she is worthy of that little like button. So go ahead and do that. And we're just gonna have to talk again. Everybody knows that we could probably just continue to talk for much longer than an hour, and I'm gonna put you back on my schedule on a different day.
Okay. We can do that.
All right.
Looking forward to it.
All right, y'all. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and end this. Jewel, just stay for one moment.
Okay.
All right. Bye bye.